Good morning. Today we will discuss regarding microcontroller and interfacing. So first of all, we will see the concept of interfacing. Interfacing is the process of connecting devices together so that they can exchange information. So it is a tool and concept that refers to a point of interaction between components and is applicable at the level of both hardware and software. An interface is a device and set of rules to match the output of one device to send information to the input of another device. So it allows a component to function independently while using interfaces to communicate with other components via an input or output system and an associated protocol. So interface device that meets the interface specifications on one side of an interface. So the term is usually applied to a device through which a system or equipment works to meet interface specifications. So in short, an interface is a device and set of rules to match the output of one device to send information to the input of another device. That is the concept of interfacing. Now you can see the block diagram showing the components of interface. So in a block diagram, you can see the interfacing device that is on one side, that is on left hand side, and also the interfacing devices that are placed on a right hand side. And in between, there is a interfacing standards and the converters. The interfacing devices should make use of standard data transfer schemes for the efficient exchange of data. So, interfacing devices that is used for exchanging of the data from one system to another, that is facilitated by the interfacing elements. So you can see in the next block diagram there is a processor and the different output devices that you can see, that is keyboard, display terminal, printer, magnetic disk, that are connected to the processor with the help of interfacing elements. And there is a data address and control. So input and output devices are connected to the microprocessor system through ports. So you can see the different number of ports of the processor where all the elements are connected. The term interface is used for the item that is used to make connections between devices and the port. So you can see the different devices and the port. In between the port and the devices, that may be input or output devices, there are the interfacing elements. Thus, there could be inputs from sensors, switches, keyboards, and output to displays and actuators. The simplest interface could be just a piece of wire. However, the interface often contains signal conditioning and protection to prevent damage to the microprocessor system. For example, inputs needed to be protected against excessive voltages or signals of the wrong polarity. So this can be protected with the help of interfacing elements. So microprocessors require inputs which are digital. So you can see in a diagram there is a microprocessor and it require inputs in a digital form. If the output from the sensor, so sensor, it is a input elements or the input devices that are connected to the processor. So the output from the sensor is analog, then conversion of analog to digital signal, it is necessary because the microprocessor requires input which are in digital form. many sensors generate only a very small signal. Then it has to be amplified first, and then only it can be converted from analog to digital. So signal conditioning might also be needed with digital signals to improve their quality. So above can be achieved with interfacing containing a number of elements. To operate an actuator, so actuator, it is a output device. There is a output from microprocessor. A suitable interface is also required here for the actuator. The actuator might require an analog signal, and therefore digital output from the microprocessor needs to be converted into analog signal. So the digital to analog converter that is necessary, that is the interfacing element or interface device that is connected in between microprocessor and the actuator to convert the output from the microprocessor, which is in a digital form, that has to be converted into analog form, that will be the input to the actuator. So there are two ways of communication. First is serial communication interface, and second is parallel communication interface. So this is regarding the concept of interfacing. So data transfer schemes, it refers to the method of data transfer between the processor and peripheral devices. So microprocessor and memory, microprocessor and input output devices, and memory and input output devices, in which the interfacing elements that has to be connected. So for effective data transfer between these devices, the timing parameters of the devices should be matched. So this is regarding the concept of interfacing. Now the next part, that is amplifying electronics. So an amplifier, it is an electronic amplifier, is an electronic device that can increase the power of a signal, that is a time varying voltage or current. It is a two-port electronic circuit that uses electric power from a power supply to increase the amplitude of a signal applied to its input terminals. So an amplifier, electronic amplifier or amp, is an electronic device that can increase the power of a signal. Thus, an amplifier modulates the output of the power supply to make the output signal stronger than the input signal. The amount of amplification provided by the amplifier is measured by its gain. An amplifier is a circuit that has a power gain greater than 1. An amplifier can either be a separate piece of equipment or an electrical circuit contained within another device. So amplifiers are used extensively in electronic circuits to make an electronic signal bigger without affecting it in any other way. So generally we think of amplifiers as audio amplifiers in the radios, CD players and stereos we use around the home. So amplifiers are widely used in almost all electronic equipment. So amplifiers can be categorized by the frequency of the electronic signal being amplified. So audio amplifiers amplify signals in the audio, that is sound, in the range of less than 20 kilohertz. RF amplifiers amplify frequencies in the radio frequency in the range of 20 kilohertz and 300 gigahertz. Servo amplifiers and instrumentation amplifiers may work with very low frequencies down to direct current. So amplifiers can also be categorized by their physical placement in the signal or in the signal change, like preamplifier, booster amplifier and inline amplifier. So you can see how amplifier works. So there is an amplifier which amplifies the signal. So on a left hand side you can see current carrying small electrical current, and it amplifies that small electrical current, and that amplifier modifies larger current based on smaller current, you can see. So this is a circuit for the amplifier which can increase the power of the signal. First is pre-amplifier. So you can see in a diagram, TR means it is a transmitter, then PA means it is a pre-amplifier, then there is a receiver. So there are two ends, transmitter and the receiver end. So pre-amplifier is usually installed at the receiver end to amplify the signal to the required level to ensure that it can be detected by the receiver. So you can see the first line of the diagram. There is a transmitter, then the pre-amplifier that is installed at the receiver end so that it can receive the signal. In the diagram, the preamplifier is installed at each receiving end of the network. So you can see the top line and the bottom line, and the preamplifier, it is installed at the receiving end. There will be great power loss after the signal goes through long transmitting distance. Therefore, preamplifier installed at the receiver end is necessary. Generally, a preamplifier should often high gain to ensure that the optical signal is detectable. Then second is booster amplifier. So in a booster amplifier, you can see there is a transmitter at one end, and at other end there is a receiver, and BA means it is a booster amplifier that is connected at transmitting end, and there is a pre-amplifier that is connected in receiving end in both the lines. In diagram, or the diagram shows the booster amplifier installed at the transmitting end and pre-amplifier at receiving end. Booster amplifiers is installed in a transmitting end to support transmitting distance much longer. A booster amplifier usually provides low gain and high output power. If the distance, if it is longer, then there should be the booster amplifier that to be installed at the transmitting end, so that it provides the low gain and high output power, and that low gain that can be increased by the preamplifier at the receiving end. Then third is inline amplifier. So the gain provided by the preamplifier and booster amplifier might not be enough due to loss by very long distance. Inline amplifier is installed in every specific distance. It has moderate gain and has similar output power to those of booster amplifier. So this is regarding the amplifying electronics. Now we will move on the microcontrollers. A microcontroller is an integrated circuit, or the IC, that can be programmed to perform a set of functions to control a collection of electronic devices. A self-contained system in which a processor, support memory, and input output are all contained in a single package, that is called a microcontroller. Being programmable is what make the microcontroller unique. So a microcontroller is a small computer on a single integrated circuit. So why do we need to learn microprocessor or controllers? The microprocessor is the core of computer system. Many communication, digital entertainment, portable devices are controlled by them. A designer should know what type of components they need, ways to reduce production cost and product reliable. So three criteria in choosing a microcontroller. So meeting the computing needs of the task efficiently and cost effectively. So the first criteria, that is the first criteria, meeting the computing needs of the task efficiently and cost effectively. So speed, the amount of ROM and RAM, the number of input output ports and timers, size, packaging, power consumption, then it is easy to upgrade, and cost per unit. Then second criteria, that is availability of software development tools, that is assemblers, debuggers, C compilers, emulator, simulator, technical support. And third criteria is wide availability and reliable sources of the microcontrollers. So different aspects of the microprocessor or controller. So hardware aspect, that is interface to the real world, and software aspect, that is to order how to deal with inputs. The necessary tools for the microprocessor or controller. So CPU, that is central processing unit. Then IO means it is input or output. Then bus, that is address bus and the data bus. Memory, RAM and ROM. Then timer, interrupt, serial port and parallel port. These are the necessary tools that are required for microprocessor or the microcontroller. So microprocessor, general purpose microprocessor, CPU for computers, no RAM, ROM, input output on CPU chip itself. So general purpose microprocessor system, that is given here. So CPU, that is general purpose microprocessor. There is a data bus and the address bus. In between there is a RAM, ROM, input output ports, timer and serial COM ports that are connected. So many chips on a motherboards. Then microcontroller, it is a small computer on chip. There is a RAM, ROM, input ports. So you can see a single chip on which there is a CPU, RAM, ROM, then input output ports, timer, serial COM ports that are placed on a single chip, that is called a microcontroller. So a microcontroller contains one or more CPUs or the processor cores along with memory and programmable input output peripherals. It is often used to run dedicated code that controls one or more tasks in the operation of a device or a system. So microcontrollers are used in automatically controlled products and devices such as automobile engine control systems, appliances, power tools, and other embedded systems. So difference between microprocessor and a microcontroller. So in a microprocessor, CPU is stand-alone. RAM, ROM, input output, timer are separate. In a microcontroller, CPU, RAM, ROM, input output and timer are all on a single chip. That is the basic difference between microprocessor and the microcontroller. So in a microprocessor, there is a separate CPU and the RAM, ROM, input output, timer that are separate. But all these elements that are on a single chip, that is called a controller. In a microprocessor, designers can decide on the amount of ROM, RAM and input output ports. And in case of microcontroller, fixed amount of on chip ROM, RAM, input output ports. So microprocessor, that is expensive, it is versatility and general purpose use, and In case of microcontroller, for applications in which cost, power and space are critical, in which microcontroller that is used, and it is used for the single purpose. So you can see the block diagram of microcontroller. All the elements that are placed on a single chip. You can see there is a memory, there is a CPU, then uh, interfacing elements, that is A to D, D to A converters, parallel, serial, time, and the different ports, input output ports, then the RAM, ROM that are placed on a single chip. So microcontrollers are an economical and popular means of data collection, sensing and actuating the systems. A microcontroller can be considered a self-contained system with a processor, memory and peripherals, and can be used as a embedded system. The majority of microcontrollers in use today are embedded in other machinery such as automobiles, telephones, appliances, and peripherals for computer systems. So, embedded systems usually have no keyboard, screen, disk, printers, or other recognizable input output devices of a personal computer and may lack human interaction devices of any kind. So it is called embedded controllers because the microcontroller and support circuits are often built into or embedded in the device they control. So in this, a typical microcontroller application, that is car cruise control, that is given, that is for the speed measurement. So there are different elements, that is timer, control, then digital to analog converter, timer, then the speed control unit that is placed on a single chip. So this is a example of the microcontroller that is used for the car cruise control. So this is regarding the microcontroller and the interfacing elements. Thank you.